unfortunately for Penta, nobody's peeking in to watch to get the kill on Gohan.
No, it looks like
Moringa.
I think it's a spectator thing where it just shows it like it's open, because we saw just the angle from a second there from Gohan's point of view. It looks like it actually is still intact. That's why he's standing there. Hard to tell though. It definitely does look like it's open from the spectator view.
All right, well, Yunas in control of the meeting area here, and waiting for them at the back stairs is, of course, the Jaeger, Astro on Team Font. They don't want to relinquish that that area to Pengu like we saw in the previous round. Here we go.
Speaking of Pengu with the pistol even.
Mav's been eliminated. That's one of the roamers now taken down.
That's also a C4 off the board, which is defenders more so than the attackers because of the way they were able to rotate stuff and change up their lineup after the droning phase, whereas the defenders have cameras early on, especially if they have the black eyes. So we'll see, though, who can actually capitalize on that better. We have Goga, for example, able to find those black eyes to be able to eliminate some of that intelligence.
All right, now we have the reinforced wall that Moringa's sitting right behind, and both sides of it are reinforced. So they're going to force Penta not only waste time, but also try to waste resources on this, because Moringa can bandit play and bandit trick, basically try and remove these Kairos at the end, but won't be able to win it out this time though. Habana's going to peek in. Moringa though falls back, and this is a really great spot from Yunas. He has the advantage in this peak.
So close seeing each other here. Moringa, I almost feel like knows he's there. It is just because he heard the Habana X Kairos go off.
All right, Astro gets one. Fabian taking him out. Or it gets taken out, basically here. The Twitch no longer in use, and KS, though, will get the kill on Moringa. Goga rotating in from behind. He has the info from his teammates, sending in the meeting hall. Spots Mav, but unfortunately can't get the quick flick shot on him.
This is important, though. They have meeting control now, and that's what they needed.
Attackers recovered the
It's looking good for the attackers to maybe make this work. They've only traded one from each other, so Bandit and the Twitch gone.
Smoke taking no damage in this one. It's a 4v4. Yunas is still alive indeed. Not too sure if still has a Kairos to play around with, or if he has used them all. Pengu using all of his charges though, and Astra is holding a very tight angle overlooking the main stairs.
Now this is where we'd expect them to start making that push downstairs. Pengu to rotate around from behind and get that pinch, and then make this happen here as they only have 40 seconds left. There we go, for the plant from Goga.
Oh, C4 waiting for that. Gohan a bit late on the smoke, and it actually will not hit at all.
That's great for Goga.
No C4 as well. Goga's going to run away from this, and they have control of the hatch. This is a disaster for Fun.
They're going to try and turn it back, though, taking down Pengu, who's the pressure from behind. That's going to help a lot here so they can rotate around safely and try and flank the attackers who are just huddled up here in the lobby.
There we go. KS has a perfect angle on them. Mav and Astro realize, okay, we can't run in, and so we're going to have to go all the way through the main site. Mav, they're waiting for him to rush in, and KS will get the kill on Gohan, leaving Astro alone. KS with one more. There's still one alive. It's Mav going to run out right in front of them. KS will get taken down. Mav sprays the second, takes him out, but doesn't have enough time here. Goes in for the one thing, and Goga's ready. And round one for Penta.
Okay, they broke it. They did it. They broke Laundry. Now's the chance for them to close it up because their biggest weakness is taken off the board. So they are definitely wanting to confirm and make sure that they are at the 5-4 they intend to be, because this is a great place for Penta to be. They have the momentum now to go the other direction.
Yeah, one more round, and we saw the defense from Penta has been excellent.
Absolutely. Defending the laundry room as well. Now, they have had a few minor slip-ups on defending this.
Oregon, yes.
Yeah, but this is their chance to close it out, and they know it. They're going to be putting their best foot forward. For example, Fabian bringing the first mute we've seen of this match here. So they are looking to lock this out absolutely and move on to the grand finals.
I think this is one of the remnants of having Falco on the team.
Absolutely.
Obviously, if you don't remember, but let me refresh your memory. Back in Year 2, Season 1, Falco, who's playing for Millennium now, actually used to play as Penta's sixth man, and he was instrumental, really, to getting the victory at the end of the season.
Yeah, he got rotated in for that second round that they needed.
And he was an insane mute, really, to play with. And Fabian definitely has the strats ready. And we'll see how he plays this one out, because I'm pretty sure that Font are not expecting this at all. And we see the Brazilian teams in general, but especially Font, relying so much on the drones. But the drones not being able to do much because this is a laundry defense. I'm not sure how this is going to work out for Font.
Yeah, I mean, Absolutely. That worked out somewhat for Millennium because, as you said, Falco was that mute player, and we saw yesterday how he used that mute against Font. So I do think, obviously, Fabian taking out of that page, not only taking out of the page from last season, but also seeing it yesterday, obviously factoring into this very smart decision here because this is their chance to win just one round and take it all.
The problem is you forfeit having the Jaeger, but when you're defending Laundry, you kind of want to have those ADSs as well because Font have been so good at lobbing grenades in spots you're not really used to.
Yeah, and so they're going to have to make sure to play smart so they're not overexposed to those grenades. Obviously, the barbed wire going to be made short order of without those ADSs, and that's something they're going to have to worry about. Although there is no Ash to take out the barbed wire with remote breaches.
Here we go. Fabian on the mute is going to get taken down.
Hopefully got all those jammers down because now he's been jammed. So he's going to have to rely on it. Again, though, like we said.
10 feet under.
Yeah. So that's why they're playing the basement, right? So like we said, though, once he's taken off the board, though, you take the IGL off the board early, that still works somewhat in the favor of the team because now he can focus on comms. He can focus on making those calls that he needs to, using the intel. He can watch their cameras still. So he's far from out of this game.
And with Fabian being so good at giving information for his teammates and being able to analyze it very, very quickly and efficiently, means that even if he is down, as you're saying, he's still a fifth man because information is pretty much half the game at Rainbow Six Siege.
And that's not to count Font short, but Font also just now getting the hatch open, and it's already been a minute 30, much slower than they had been before. So the fact that they're playing a little bit slower is giving Penta the advantage because they still have full control of the meeting hall, but they're not over-dedicated to it like they had been before.
Yeah, and as we're saying, you know, having the smoke on the team with Pengu means that with every second that passes, that he becomes better and better.
I was almost hoping Pengu would go up and shoot those discs.
Here we go. Speaking of Pengu shooting
he's
people.
Going.
Ooh, almost getting the kill there. Just a bit of damage, just scaring them off. Jumps in for one, and Gohan will go down. No more IQ. Spins the second Astro down the floor. Marinka, are you ready for this? Yes! Pengu, are you kidding me? With a third getting taken down. And the drop right below. And the third got to the face. Pengu wins it up. Nude. And here we go. Penta, ladies and gentlemen, are going to the grand final.
Are we going to see a repeat of last year? Well, it's not going to be Penta versus the Brazilians this time. They've got Elevate to contend with.
The analysis team is going to get on this, but Penta Elevate, this is basically Elevate wanting revenge after being knocked out by Penta in round one of the previous finals.
This is not the same Elevate, though, to be clear. So this is going to be exciting. I'm very hyped for these grand finals because with the performance Penta just showed, they are going to be bringing it super hard against Elevate. And with what Elevate showed today and yesterday, they're going to be bringing it just as hard. It is going to be intense. Very happy with what I saw from both these teams, but especially Penta. Sometimes they lost momentum, but they always got it back in the end. 6-4 both maps. 6-4 on Border against Frontier, and then 6-4 on Oregon. Brilliantly played. I wonder if we'll still see Clubhouse, but it's not likely now that the Brazilians are out.
I'm very sad for Team Fun, previously known as Dexterity, if you guys remember. Making it to the semifinals, giving it a good show, but the thing is here, playing Penta is not like playing any
I wouldn't feel too bad about losing to the best team last season. I mean, you're not losing to a bottom team and going like, well, I guess we just don't have it this year. Clearly they have it this year. I expect Font going forward, great things from them next season. They've really shown once they brought in the new players, they made the changes, obviously changed organizations as well. They are just a phenomenal team, and I expect they will look at these VODs and say, okay, these are the mistakes we made that Penta capitalized on. We can shore those up. Like Canadian was talking about earlier as well, they're a team that plays very differently, and so they're going to have to make their own unique kind of adaptations.
Yeah, it's not an easy task to adapt around teams that are basically built to run around in a way that you can't really understand. There's no logic behind it in the moment, but when we sit back and analyze and watch every single game, we're like, oh, this rotation did make sense. Yeah. This position really did make sense. But let's see what Matt on the desk can make sense out of all of this one with Penta Sports. All yours, Matt.
Enzo Milos, thanks very much, guys. Penta Sports are in the grand final, Gamescom. Few people pleased about that. You as well.
I'm just as happy as everybody else. Who doesn't want to play the final, right?
There's a chant going on for you guys. Nicely done, Gamescom. Of course you want to be in the final. That trophy, you know, that title. That invisible thing, but it matters so much to all the players. The title of being the Pro League champions. That's yours right now. And we all made those jokes. Oh, will we see them again next year, season 1? They come around at the start of a year and then we don't see them for a while. Look where we are now. Yours in your hands to defend.
Well, the trophy fit good in my hand last season. It might as well do this one too.
Elevate then. Those are your opponents, but before we get to them, let's have another word about these wonderful guys on Team Font. We had so much fun with Brazilian teams. You know them well from your experiences last season against various players. Difficult challenge, that one, sort of going quite smoothly for you, but then lots to deal with.
Well, we know that all Brazilian players are insanely good at shooting us. They just get the kills when they need them, and I think that we won on the tactical side, and I think the teamwork we had was better, and that's the reason we won.
Went to overtime on that second map. Were there any concerns as a team? Do you let pressure get to you at all?
Well, when we have a 3-0 lead and they come back from that, anything can happen, and you know the pressure is on our side because we're the ones leading and we should be one that pushing through for the win. But in the end, it turned out to be good for us, I guess.
So let's turn our attention to your opponents for the final. Elevate. Big NA-EU matchup and a bit of a grudge match from last season. Not the final match that we had last season, but you knocked them out in the early stages.
We did, and we plan on doing the same this time.
There you go. Skies is glad he's facing you. That knockout last time hurt them. They wanted you for this final. That's what we've got. That's what I think many of us wanted here at Gamescom. It will be Elevate from NA and Penta Sports in the grand final here at the Rainbow Six Pro League Season Finals, live from Gamescom. Let's have another look at that amazing action.
What a series this was between Penta Sports and Team Font. This second map here, which we're witnessing on Oregon, too many highlights to even recall.
Yeah, Pengu just, I think, multiple 4Ks or 3Ks, just insane, like, montage-worthy clips.
At the end of the third round, he had 10 kills, which means he had 2 rounds of 3 kills and a 4K.
Yeah.
Insane work, especially coming off of what would be considered a poorer showing from him on the first map, where I think he dropped 1 kill after 11 or 10 rounds.
Yeah, he was 0-7 at one point, and then he ended the second map with 20 frags.
Yeah, on the second map, it was definitely Pengu slowing down the attack of Font and just shutting them down when they were on the attacking side. On the first map, I give a lot of credit to both KS and Junis. I think they put in very big performances on Border, and that was a big part of what was able to get Penta up 1 map to start off the series.
Yeah, I mean, we're witnessing here Pengu's 3Ks, his 4Ks, his 2Ks, and ultimately what really I think brought Penta back in this map particularly was the fact that they were able to refrag. They were able to get the trades when needed, as opposed to just letting one teammate die and not having someone to pick that up.
Yeah, I think it was a mix of, like you said, just the team play as well as the strategy. Again, it wasn't that Font was like out-skilled or anything. It really was like mostly the team play from Penta.
I think a big part of what Penta did to slow down Font was taking heavy meeting control and a lot of map control. I think if you give Font a large amount of map control very early on in the rounds, they're able to do a lot with that as far as not having to worry about players around them. And when they're able to focus, they can be so deadly. But Penta was very consistent in holding a large portion of the map throughout the round and holding that map control until the very late portions of the round.
Yeah, I mean, the Penta Sports we saw here and the Team Font we saw here today is what we were talking about at the beginning. How this game, to me, is the epitome of what I want to see next game at the finals. This series here, while it did end in a 2-0, it was very close the entire time.
We've praised the Brazilian teams during last season's finals, since last season's finals, for mixing it up so much last season, causing some surprises. Everyone was excited to see what Latin American teams would do at Pro League finals, and if we're fair, last season finals, we maybe didn't expect as much as we got. But I think that is correct. We underestimated what they were going to bring. Let's be completely straight about that. They surprised us and other teams, and it proved bringing Latin American to Pro League, giving it a region to fight for places in the final. That was an absolutely terrific decision. More on decisions like that coming up very soon, by the way. Don't go anywhere. So they surprised us, and it was good to see them. Now, though, we don't have a Brazilian team in our final. We have an EU and NA one. I don't think any of us really expected that. We may not have known which Brazilian team to call, but we thought there would be one.
Yeah, I mean, both Brazilian teams at least made it to the semifinals, still showing that last season wasn't just a fluke, that they still do deserve to be here. And the fact that they aren't in the finals or the grand finals isn't necessarily a big thing to say, oh, Latin America lost their touch.
No.
They're fighting the hardest competition out there.
Kind of makes me wish we had a third, fourth place playoff, though. To see BRK and Font together on our stage would be a fun contest.
Definitely.
I think. They've had such great games all season. But now we have Elevate and Penta to look forward to.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite the matchup. I think there's a very interesting contrast of styles. I think we saw Elevate playing it very loose throughout the tournament so far, and Penta, I don't want to say they were playing rigid, but the approach they were taking, I think, is a fair bit different from what we've seen from Elevate. Elevate mixed it up a lot when they came into their match against BRK, and I think Penta is the kind of team that's going to have an answer for that kind of stuff. I think Elevate's got their work cut out for them. I think it'll be quite the match.
If it had been Penta versus Font in the final, may it have been a one-sided competition like last season's final was?
Penta versus BRK, do you mean?
I do, yes.
Oh, I think it probably would have been a bit closer. I feel like last time BRK didn't play up to their full potential, and like Milos has mentioned earlier, they have picked up Julio, who has been playing amazing throughout the entire event. So I do think it would have been quite a bit closer. I still would favor Penta, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I mean, BRK as well as Elevate, when they lose a match, they're right back at it trying to get better at it. And so if we would have seen a rematch from Season 1 finals with Penta and BRK, it would have just been BRK stepping it up that much more.
2 awesome semi-finals in the books. We do that every season. Always awesome ones. Here's the bracket to show how our Pro League Season 2 of Year 2 will come to a conclusion later on today. You see Elevate's position in the final after a 2-0 win over BRK, Penta Sports and Font 2-0 there. And that is that incredible final that few would have predicted, but many are excited to see. Elevate against Penta Sports. That's going to come to you in a little while live here from Gamescom. Don't go anywhere, though, because next up on our stage, we'll be having our esports panel. I'll be joined with the esports manager from Ubisoft on Rainbow Six, Jeremy Sunville. He and I will be telling you more things about the new season to come, what we can expect from season through, what we can expect on the integration of esports more into Rainbow Six Siege. We'll also be talking about some fun things in the game to help the teams, and yes, the Six Invitational 2018. Montreal, next February. You don't know a lot about it. If you've been watching us on Twitter, following stuff I've been tweeting, or Rainbow, or any of our guys, you might know the dates. What you don't know is how to get there, when you can buy tickets, and how you could play in it. All of that will be with you very soon. Then it'll be our grand final live here with this amazing audience at Gamescom. And don't worry, we have not forgotten Operation Blood Orchid. That is coming up after the grand final today. The first ever live playthrough here on stage of Theme Park. And we'll show you the 3 new operators in action in an incredible show match. And of course, a panel detailing all of that. If you've missed any of the reveals, any of the announcements about the new map or the operators, don't worry, you won't miss it all today. That's coming after the grand final. But before we get to that, our esports news coming up just after this. Those 4 teams, that's really unfair. We've seen all of these comments. This is why we're doing this panel. We wanted to sort of sort some of these things out. So you were looking at that spread of 4 teams because you're going to see what the Latin American audiences can do, as well as the Latin American teams. But the first date of next season is the 18th of September. We're going to put this season away soon.
Oh yeah, it's almost close.
Then we'll get into Season 3. Then we'll wrap Season 3 up at Sao Paulo. And then, I don't know, let's have a World Championship called the Six Invitational 2018. I'd quite like another one of those.
Yeah.
It was good.
The last one was a whole lot of fun.
So that's what's going to happen. After Season 3, there's going to be another Six Invitational. You know a little bit about it, but let's remind you about it.
This is the culmination of 14 months of Rainbow play, where it's not only been blood, sweat, and tears, but we've had fun along the way.
we have 12 teams who've flown in from Europe, North America, Latin America, Asia, and Oceania.
The lights, the teams, it's so amazing that people have embraced this game and taken it to this level.
And only the shot's going to go towards his feet. He doesn't know where to go. The shot.
Team Vitality!
We're talking about community and giving a spotlight on our community that has been amazing over the past year, growing this game. From the bottom of our heart, we just want to take a moment to say thank you.
Era versus Continuum for the PC World Championship.
So this is a big grudge match going in here for both teams.
He picks up a double. Snake picks up a third now, and it's King George alone against two.
And you are the world champion. That was an incredible contest, one that will live with me forever. I'm sure it'll live with everybody who was there, whether a player, whether anybody involved in putting that show on, or of course any of the wonderful people who came and joined us in Montreal. So many happy memories of the Six Invitational last February. And it is about community. It's not just a World Championships. It really was an opportunity to meet fans and have all those wonderful things that you were provided by Ubisoft as well, for people to see new content, but meet people and everything that happened, as well as fantastic competition. Kicks.
Yeah.
Such an incredible thing to be a part
Oh yeah, the last Invitational, and you're right, the best part about it was just getting to meet everybody. I mean, you know, we're here at Gamescom, and this is amazing, by the way, seeing all these wonderful people, but the great thing about the Invitational is that it's all about Siege. Everyone there loves Siege, is passionate about it, and is interested in all of the teams. Whether whoever wins or loses is another thing that's great, is because if there's a French crowd and they're cheering on their French team and that team loses, it's still an uproar, it's still passion.
On his own Valkyrie camera, right inside, he sees the moto.
2 times a week.
We have to set that camaraderie.
Is that going to carry over into the other maps they play? Because Clubhouse is, well, it's a very unique map. And those strategies that were used by Penta are unique to said map. So are they going to be able to continue that trend going into the next map of, okay, we just have more idea of what we're playing here than you do? Mm-hmm. Elevate on the next map, who's probably going to have a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Consulate, right?
It is Consulate, so, which I think, I mean, we were talking about it as we saw the map ban go on, that is kind of Penta's map. Yeah, it was surprising that it went through, but at the same time, it was either that or Coastline.
So I was about to talk about is how the problem is like, okay, sure, yeah, all right, we're off Clubhouse. Clearly, Penta practiced Clubhouse, but going on to, like, Penta's home turf is Consulate. Like, that's their map. You know, it's the sort of map that you say, hey, you don't really want to bring Penta to Consulate. You know, it's not really something you're going to be interested in. So the question really is, how is Elevate going to have deal with that? Because Elevate is a team where if you give them a VOD, if you give them any inkling of how it is that you set yourself up, they do absolutely know how to handle it. So Penta, while they're used to Consulate, they know how to execute on a Consulate. If they do the predictable Consulate strategy that they've been doing this like throughout the entire season, then I think Elevate's going to stand a chance.
Yeah, and I think that's possible. And one of the things I wanted to bring up real quick was when you're trying to, we'll say, counter-strat Penta, how do you counter-strat a team that doesn't necessarily have definitive strats? So do you go after how they come up with strats? How do they move? Like, do you go after the operators they play, after what the fluidness that they bring? Like, how do you go up against a team? How do you prepare for a team such as Penta?
It's extremely difficult. I mean, Penta, when I interviewed the majority of the team, I interviewed all the teams but Font for this LAN event, and almost every single one of them, their main thing they said was like, all right, what are we as a team? We're flexible. We can be passive, we can be aggressive, we can do whatever it is we need to do in the middle of the match, whatever we feel like is the right choice. And you know, Penta said the same thing, but I think what really makes them stand apart in their flexibility is how midline that they can stay. They can keep themselves on the same pace. They can keep themselves on the same, like, sort of mentality of just like they're not stretching too far in any one direction, and that gives them a great level of consistency. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are loading on to Concept, by the way. Yet again, this is a map that I think honestly favors Penta, but Elevate has knowledge about how Penta sets them up here, themselves up here, as opposed to Clubhouse, which is a map that is almost never played in the Pro League. Elevate didn't have said knowledge.
Yeah, and so while we are getting underway here with the second map of this grand finals for the Rainbow Six Siege Pro League of Season 2, this map we talk constantly about how even, or at least favored, every single bomb site is. All 3 bomb sites are favorable to to the defenders. Generally speaking, though, we still have the garage and top floor as the particular ones, except for Penta, who seems to favor the basement and main floor.
Yeah, all teams can. Well, I mean, there's a lot of variation. I mean, one team will say, all right, we go here, but they tend to mix things up. Every single team in the league, when they play on console, they're like, yeah, we can go to middle floor, we can go to top floor, we can go to bottom floor. And they're all very similar. Well, they're not similar. They're different, but they're to a degree they are similar. Specifically in the vertical game, in that most of the floors on this map are destructible, and as a result, you can play vertically as an attacker or a defender on each and every one of them. Now, the thing with basement is, I mean, like you got to prevent the attackers from getting the vertical control inside of Piano. And some teams have opted to try and do that by putting a mirror window inside of the bathroom and contending directly from there, opening up the bathroom drop-down, because the bathroom drop-down doesn't really give you a lot of control over the bottom floor. It gives you some, but not nearly as much as opening up holes in Piano. But, you know, it's fallen out of favor, and only some teams do it these days. I think the reason is it hasn't seen much success. I think it's very easy for the attackers to collapse on somebody holding inside of the bathroom, even if they have a retreat.
So here we have it now. Still lots of time. The attack phase has just begun recently, and KS trying to make sure that there's no Valkyrie cameras in some obvious spots. That's what the IQ is being brought for. Most of the time, you're going to have Valkyrie cameras tossed out, you know, and you'll be able to hopefully get them and spot them as the IQ.
So we have Laxing roaming upstairs. Ooh, meanwhile, England's going to get a kill with his shotgun. I believe that's downstairs.
That was underneath, yep, as Ledge tried opening up the floor.
So yeah, good kill there by the Smoke, and that is a fantastic start for Elevate after coming off that loss. Laxing still roaming upstairs. He is going to be contended by Pengu, who is pushing in through the CEO office, as well as Junis from below, technically, I suppose.
Skies, however, is inside of the Visa hallway, right outside of the Visa office. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to make that push towards the circle stairs. Laxing has been spotted out inside of the admin, and Pengu is the one that's going to try to hunt him down. Eunice does pick up that kill, and Skies being a little aggressive towards that middle reception area.
Laxing's playing a dangerous game, dancing with Pengu on the top floor, but the more important thing is that Penta, meanwhile, is utilizing their middle floor control and pushing into the main garage. Now, so all the while Pengu's hunting down Laxing, they're not wasting any of this time.
So that's, like you said, that's the great thing about this and this roaming hunting that we're going to be seeing we're going to see Pengu doing. Right there, you did see the kill there from, I think it was Fabian onto England. And here's this engagement now. Pengu coming out on top. This is his home turf, this top floor middle site.
So Penta now in a 4v2. It's all going to be down to Shuttle and Chapstick, the two newer players on Elevate, to hold anchored hard in the site. Fortunately for them, there's still plenty of time for Penta to make this execution happen, and they have complete control to establish the lines of sight that they oh so want to make it so, well, very much easier for them to win these fights.
Canadian has talked about it before, how Chapstick has not necessarily risen to shine just yet, but this could be the round that kicks it off. It is up to Shuttle and Chapstick in a 2-on-4. Pengu gets spotted out at the bottom of circle stairs. Fabi going to go for it. Shuttle snacks down one, gets another one under Goga. A 2-on-2 now. He's going to rush on upstairs, tries to get Eunice. He's going to move to the side. Shuttle now coming around from the circle stairs right above Pengu.
Oh, he doesn't know Pengu's pushing in through the back hall, and he's going to try to go for Junis, who is pushing into the main circles.
Yes, he gets it. 3K now. He's going to go for the fourth one as he tries to take on Pengu from above. Chapstick now moving on over, spots him over inside, and this is now going to go to a 2-on-1, and the round will go in favor of Elevate after a 2-4 clutch.
What a clutch from Shuttle. And a dance from Chapstick. That was all Shuttle, ladies and gentlemen. Pushing up to the stairs, getting the kill on the Goga, pushing in through main garage. Then on, I believe, the drop down from the bathroom. Then pushing into the circular main lobby desk. And catching Junis way off guard. Then it was a very simple matter to kite around Pengu, the Blackbeard, who had pushed downstairs. That was just excellently played from Shuttle. That's his second insane clutch of just today.
And that's one of the reasons why going from kitchen into that middle office, you make the crawl through space that far away from the kitchen door. So you can't just come through the kitchen door as Laxing tried to do and easily get your entire line of sight into the office. You put it at that far angle to alleviate a nice turn that the attackers might have if they rush into kitchen.
So now Penta on their first defense will opt for that top floor, which, like you said, is different than what we're used to. I mean, you know, the thing about Penta is that they can really do, yeah, exactly, specifically to Penta. But the thing about Penta is they can do pretty much anything. Seemingly, they have no end to their strategy. They can go wherever they want to go, and they can make it work. It's honestly very odd because you don't see many other teams that can commit to every bomb site. They are going to have a pretty standard setup here. 4 players on the top floor, 2 players focusing on admin, so they really don't want to give up on that admin hold. And this is cool because this reminds me of the strip hold they were doing on Clubhouse, where they, okay, if the Elevate's attacking from strip, well then we're just going to stay in strip. We're going to hold strip for the whole round until we die, because it becomes harder to hold the floor after you lose control of strip. And it's the same thing for admin. After you lose control of admin, after the attackers establish that, it becomes so much harder to hold the top floor. So why not just invest a lot of players in, well, admin? They've done just that, as well as Mirror Windows, but Shuttle with the first frag of the round is going to take out Junis. So that's a bad start for the Penta hold. Curious to see if they're going to continue to invest more players here, or if they're just going to rely on Chaos on the Mirror Window.
Yeah, I mean, the Bandit going out early, if it was just the Bandit, it wouldn't necessarily be that big of a thing, but
from
with
downstairs is going to take out Skies in the Visa office. That was a good flank there by Fabian, and afterwards he just falls right off. He doesn't need to force things out. He's evened out the man count into a 4-4, and that's all that really matters.
Now just over half the round still to go. We are going to get Shuttle to finish out droning Visa, make sure it's all clear. And that is Laxing that's going to be most likely holding that push out from below, as we do have members from Elevate repelled onto those windows and popping into the archives. Or the admin. Still Fabian roaming around, detected, but still has free range of this downstairs because he hasn't had much pressure towards him. Pengu will pick up that SMG-11 kill onto Shuttle. That's going to be from the middle side, and that might have been out on the balcony, I want to say.
Good kill there from Pengu, and now the pressure again is mounting for Elevate as they push themselves slowly in through the admin office and east side of the building in general. Fabian still, he's coming up the Visa stairs right now. He could get a really good flank here. Laxing's going to be on the meet him, but he will. Oh, Laxing misses the shot.
Down.
And Fabian manages to get that kill. Now a 2 versus 4. All the pressure again on Elevate.
Had a lot of good game sense there. He did try to engage with Pengu, realized he got called out, backed away, and expected the flank to happen. Wonderful game sense, just did not come out on top of that engagement. There are 25 seconds to go in a 4-on-2. The C4 toss comes out from Goga, but misses. England picks up the kill, instantly refragged by KS. It's now a 1-on-3, all up to Chapstick. He's going to come down the middle corridor by the reception desk, comes on through, very exposed here, left, right, and front side. Pengu picks up the crossfire, and he will get Chapstick down. It's going to be 2 kills, or 2-0 here for Penta.
It's 1-1.
1-1, sorry.
A nice round there from Penta, holding off that push coming from the admin side of the building. And again, it's just investment well thought out by Penta. They didn't fully commit to the admin office, but they stalled it out to the point at which it didn't matter. And it could have been, you could say honestly that Penta stalled it out, but I have to put it a little bit on Elevate as well for just not getting aggressive enough. They seem to be playing scared, and this is counter to what we're used to seeing from them. I think it just comes down to the fact that they are an emotional team. Absolutely, through and through, Elevate is an emotional team. And they did lose the last map 5-1, even if they lost it because Penta clearly put more practice in on Clubhouse. That's beside the point, really. They did lose it, and they've got to be feeling a little bit down. They need to get at least a couple rounds in a row here to put themselves in a good mental place.
If it was a 5-3, 6-4, 6-5, Elevate would be right back up there. Right. But that loss is a little bit, we'll call it detrimental to their mental health right now.
Yeah. Now Elevate, they are going to defend this top floor. Nobody's gone into the middle floor just yet, but we'll see where Penta goes second. And pretty simple setup here, nothing too surprising. I put a couple more reinforcements on A than we might see usually. But they still made that typical rotation hole. There's no big surprises that I can see. They're not doing any castle stratting. They're not doing the mirror windows that we saw Penta put up here because, well, they haven't brought Mira. They also have a couple holes by the B bomb site to deny that plant. Overall, it's a simple setup.
From the Penta side of stuff, though, we are going to see Capital get brought out instead of bringing the Ash along.
Right.
Or the Sledge.
Which is,
in this case,
that's different.
It is very different, especially because Capital's typically brought out to deny Mira or a smoke behind a mirror window, let's say on Oregon basement. Here, for example, a lot of the places that you place a mirror window, you can open up a window and get it, whether it's in connector, bathroom, whatever it may be. Fabian, however, does take the buck gun and finish off England very early on in the round.
That was in the connector. A good angle here from Fabian. That's a good start as well for Penta. The push is just straight coming onto the B bomb site. It's a very simple attack, and it seems to be working so far for Penta. No real, I think what we need to see from Elevate right now is a run out to get some of these Penta players off the rappel. There are 4 Penta players rappelling right now. That's quite a lot of pressure from the rappel.
Ooh, Skies gets that kill into Eunice as he tries to rappel into the window there. That's one of the rappels down. Goga was another on the connector window, and there was no one trying to cover him. So if there was a pop out onto the balcony on the south side of the map, he could just get the Capital down. Now there's Chapstick, who will meet the fate from Fabian's gun again. Goes for the shot. That's going to be a triple kill for Fabian. Instantly returned with the frag by Shuttle. Now a 2-on-3. There's the kill from Goga. Shuttle, another one, pops on out just like we were saying needed. He actually hit KS as he was trying to go for the plant. That got him off. Laxing then peeked on up, got the kill, and that's a wonderful refrag. Elevate now in a 2-1 situation. Pengu trying to repel, waiting for someone to pop on out. There's 60 seconds to go. Diffuser is down.
Pengu has won this exact situation before. But I don't feel like 1-on-3. I don't think Elevate's gonna let this happen though. We'll see what happens as he repels
this is
in.
Literally, I'm having flashbacks.
It's the same thing, yeah.
You had one in yellow, one in connector, the other one was in bathroom. In this case, he only needs to worry about 2 in yellow and bathroom. He's got this potentially.
He's taking it slow. He has plenty of time. Doesn't need to rush himself.
He's just trying to get, he's, like you said, plenty of time, 30 seconds to go. He's just waiting to hit this. Now, you cannot plant on the left side in this cubby. You have to be in the middle of the room, and that's exactly what Pengu just found out. He was in the wrong spot. He's going to try to go right here, and he's just waiting for the call. There he goes, gets it down the little sliver. Will he get it? 15 seconds to go. Shuttle's going to try to wall bang here. Will not get it. Plant will go down. This is likely to go in favor of Pengu. The plant goes successful. Shuttle now inside of the connector here. Looks like he's going to move out from yellow stairs. Goes for the shot. Pengu sees him. He's going to fall, and it will be Elevate winning this round, going up 2-1 now.
A great clutch there by Elevate, and we have seen, like we said earlier, we have seen that same exact situation with that same player, Pengu, lost before in a 1v3. So it's very good by Elevate to not give that up, despite the fact that their breaking holes in the floor strategy didn't work and allowed Pengu the ability to plant there. So what was happening there, what caused Elevate to win that round? Penta strayed a little bit from what we're used to seeing them, how they attack onto that top floor. Usually, and that's good. I think that's good because they need to be less predictable. The way Penta usually attacks onto the top floor is they'll pressure in from admin, they'll put Pengu on the A balcony or repelled around the A balcony, and they'll just kind of push into A. What we saw from them just now was just a straight repel strategy. At one point, we had 4 of the attackers repelled and putting themselves in a position to push into the site. And they actually did repel in unison at one point, but they got caught off guard and ended up losing those fights. As a result, putting themselves at the man disadvantage. And honestly, I have to attribute that mostly to Shuttle. That was a great round by both Shuttle and Laxing.
One of the things I'd like to see that maybe we will see Elevate do potentially on the next time they want to hold top floor isn't, we talked about 2 ways to hold that corner office. 1, reinforce it all and keep someone inside on the close angle. 2, leave the walls facing yellow stairs soft and play it from the yellow stairs. Keep someone inside of the yellow stairs. I'd like to see that secondary, that ladder strat, to try to keep Penta from pushing into that corner office again.
That'd be a good option for, I mean, honestly, opening up the floor, or opening up the wall on the yellow stairs is really good because of one thing. The attackers are not going to invest too heavily in the yellow stairs when they're doing a B bomb site attack. I mean, it takes too much. And if they are going to invest in the yellow stairs, they'll likely invest at the top of the yellow stairs. You could challenge the B bomb site plant and you don't have to be all the way at the top of yellow stairs as a defender. So it's a very good way for the roamers to actually influence the round if you're defending that top floor, and specifically if the attack's going on to B. But here we have Penta. They are going downstairs this time. So we'll see how they manage to make, or if they manage to make this work for themselves. Junis and Shuttle having a little bit of a skirmish here. Fabian's going to be the backup from the bottom of Spiral Stairs, going to try and supplement that pressure onto Shuttle, who has pushed himself into the into Passport.
So still 2/3 of the round left to go. Like we said, there's just a little bit of skirmish, not too much. I don't think any damage has been dealt, but the drone phase is still happening as England's going to progress a little bit to the Visa stairs, looking on up, making sure he won't get flanked or any peek.
So this is very clearly an east side attack, and an east side attack on the bottom floor is very difficult to execute properly. The way you have to do it is you need to have full control over the top 2 floors and utilize those drop downs in the lobby and the bathroom. If you don't do that, then you're just making it a one-dimensional attack, and you're pushing in through 2 lanes. And we've talked how bad that usually is on a lot of different maps. Ooh, a challenge onto Shuttle from Junis is going to get the headshot. What a wonderful kill there. That's a good start for Penta. And the most important thing about that kill is it means Penta still has control, well, at least an inkling of control over the top floors. And that's really all that matters when you're dealing with an east side attack.
Yeah, Junis is being pushed from both sides. It looks like the cross is going to come at the exact same time. England comes out on top, and Junis's back will be shot on through. A 4-on-4 now. England is going to be having control of this top floor.
Fabian's still inside of the piano, and we have Chapstick lingering outside. Chapstick waiting to open up the main garage. Fabian, well, it might actually be open. Waiting to open up the main garage. And Fabian just waiting to try and refrag himself, essentially. He's wasting so much time here, and that's actually the most important thing. And to see those mute charges means, or mute jammers means that he will not be droned out, so he will have a fair engagement, a 1v1, with whatever attacker challenges onto him.
And there he goes, going to try to go for the shots there onto Hibana. Chapstick coming out on top after the drop hatch got opened up from the corner office. That man count is now in favor here of Elevate. A 3-on-4 is going to ensue. And it looks as though with 20 seconds left to go, Garage Wall will get opened up as Chapstick is going to be the one with Diffuser. Now, for some reason, there are bandit charges still onto that wall. It's going to be very unlikely that Garage gets opened up, but nonetheless, it does get open. We are going to see Chapstick try to move on in. We've got KS trying to come out from the hallway. Goga picks up the kill into Lexing. KS also stealing one into England. Chapstick down all up the skies. Now 1 second to go, and it's going to be Penta Sports now tying this back up 2-2.
A great round there from Penta. Unfortunately, when Elevate, even with the man advantage, started to push into the bomb site, they lost their fights. They didn't get enough frags. They ended up getting taken down by Penta. Pretty much a tackle there, a hard tackle. And I think it honestly has to do with not enough focus being placed on the garage. Elevate was too spread out. They didn't have anyone in a position to just stay passive, stay alive, and cover that diffuser plant. If they had anyone who could just, well, fulfill that role, it could have been a slightly longer round, at least, for Elevate. Now, I mean, they did a really good job. You have to hand it to Elevate. Despite losing that round, they did a really good job of clearing out the roamers on the top 2 floors and establishing the control they needed so very much to make that push happen. I also like how they started on the east side but finished on the west side of the building, opening up that garage instead of trying to shove themselves in through the back lanes.
Yeah, it was almost like a delayed push, trying to make sure that if Penta wanted to rotate back, get in position, that they'd be caught in the crossfire. But Penta, they played fairly conservative on that round, I'll say, downstairs. Oh,
absolutely, yeah. After the roamers were taken out, they played super safe. But the roamers themselves were playing aggressively. I think they just distinguished their roles between the two very well.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think on the note of, you said about slow push, it was an absolutely slow push last round from Elevate. Super, super slow. They took way too much time. And again, they cleared from one side of the building to another. That takes a lot of time. And they weren't especially aggressive about it. And I think the reason overall why they lost that round just has to be the time. They spent too much of it. They didn't have enough when they were trying to push in and plant. I mean, they opened up the garage wall with 20 seconds to go. Yeah. That is too close.
Very, very close, especially if there still would have been the smoke on the board that just gassed it on out.
Yeah, there's not really a lot you're going to be doing there. So, Penta attacking onto the basement defense of Elevate, and they will be focusing on control over the 2 top floors. Again, this is usually what happens here. Laxing is still inside of Visa, and he will be, and so is Skies actually. Skies at the top of Visa stairs, and this is a little bit of a unit. They're just waiting for their opportunity to pounce onto the Penta attack. Unfortunately for them, Penta's not really putting any emphasis at all on the Visa side of the building, which means they will be able to just focus entirely on this bathroom and piano room, open up those holes and use that vertical game on the anchors. If Penta is able to kill the anchors as they sit inside the bomb side, then that means these 2 roamers in Skies and Laxing aren't going to be useful at all. Skies will fall back and Laxing will linger.
And right now, Fabian, I think, does see a little crevice of Laxing's head. He's going to go and investigate, double check it. I think he might have seen him. He will see him there inside of the soda machine, corner drop hatch of Visa. Therefore, Fabian's not going to try to challenge this. Looks as though Laxing was taken down, I want to say, by someone progressing in from above,
It was Pengu on the Visa stairs. He did get the down, and now he knows that he is going to be able to secure it because it's been droned out by his teammates. And while they do, Penta now has complete control over the top 2 floors. All 4 of the defenders from Elevate are downstairs, and they have a minute to make this execution happen. See, this is the opposite to what we saw from Elevate. Plenty of time.
Yeah, there's still over 60 seconds left on the board. Fabian will have to worry, though, about C4 coming up from underneath, as well as just fire coming. Because once we talked about it often, when you open up a floor, whether it's below or above, it's a 2-way street. Now, counterintuitive of what Elevate did previously, the wall of Garage will get opened up with 55 seconds to go. Pengu working his way down the surface stairs by Visa. Fabian picking up that shot onto Chapstick. It's now a 3-on-4. England will be the 1 man left alive with Skies here, 2 men, as Skies now trying to come around, spots the shots there onto Eunice, taps him in the kneecap, but does not destroy him just yet. They now know there's 1 inside of Piano, as England gets headshot from behind. Skies does get Eunice, but it looks as though it's going to be a 4-on-1. It's all up to Skies here inside of Piano, and this is not bearing well here. We are going to
he sees it, but he missed it.
He gets the diffuser down successfully, and this round will go to Penta Sports. It's going to be 3-2. It's very, very unlikely that Skies will get this.
So what happened there for Penta? They executed a similar strategy to Elevate, but what they did right is the same thing as what Elevate did wrong on their attack. Basically, they didn't waste nearly as much time on their on taking control of the top 2 floors. They also didn't lose anyone when they were taking control of the top 2 floors. It was all the players lost from Penta were lost on the actual take. Also, they had players outside the garage to supplement the push in through garage. Also, they opened up the garage with more than 20 seconds to spare. So all in all, it was this similar attack to what Elevate executed. It was just done quicker. Not quicker necessarily, but just way cleaner overall. I think they had a better idea of what they were trying to do. I think there's a little bit of confusion on the Elevate side of things right now. And even despite that, there's still 3-2. Elevate has not lost this map yet. But a great execution there from Penta, absolutely.
Now Penta deciding to go back upstairs, and this is where they previously won. So we'll have to see if they can secure it again.
They had a good job of defending this top floor, and again, it comes down a little bit to time. Bad time management by Elevate, but also just good gunplay by Penta.
10 seconds remaining.
You know, if Elevate chooses to attack from the admin office again, which was what they did last time, they really need to be able to deal with this mirror window in a timely manner. They need to get. I want to see aggressive Elevate again. I need aggressive Elevate, because this slow-paced Elevate that just lingers on every angle without challenging is I don't like it. It's not getting the job done for me. I really need them to like be themselves and play their own game.
And there was some discussion earlier about the thought process or forcing a team such as Penta, or any team really, to play back-to-back games without a necessary longer break. But here, it's looking like Penta's just keeping on the momentum from their previous victory and moving on forward.
Yeah.
Now Eunice is being spotted out here, but it looks as though he will duck behind the cubicles, try to re-challenge this on the Laxing, get some little shave damage here by the nade, but it looks as though Shuttle and England, as well as Laxing, all repelled here. Now Eunice should turn around, grab the diffuser, or grab the charges onto the window. He is successful there. Wonderful job keeping that mirror window intact.
So Elevate again are stalling out a little bit on these windows. And a nice shot from Eunice is going to make that stall even more drastic for Elevate. See, the last time Elevate attacked onto this, they actually killed Eunice as he was, I believe it was Eunice, holding inside of Admin. This time, because Eunice has got that advantage early on, it's not going to be quite the same.
There's no pressure from underneath. Fabian has this all secure, which means Eunice has free reign to stay inside of this corner and just apply an immense amount of pressure to everyone repelled. Now Elevate finally got the call. This is not going to work. Half the round is over. We have to relocate ourselves and start moving around. We already see Skies on the yellow staircase trying to work his way up. This is exactly where we're going to see the rest of Elevate try to maneuver to.
Might be a bit of a pincer attack, though, as we still even have some guys from Elevate lingering. Laxing has gotten onto the B windows, and Skies is starting to push his way in all the way through the yellow stairs. Laxing with a nice frag onto Pengu. That's going to be a very good start, but mirror window still intact, will be supplemented by Junis.
Now, we did talk about keeping the corner office wall soft, and they have done that for the majority of it. However, not enough that the attacker can actually get through. Koga, however, has hopped out of the window. He's going to be spotted. Can he get the kill on the Chapstick? He grabs the Deagle kill! Koga grabbing it down to the Chapstick, who had to repel to get the angle and just took too much time in that animation. Now, Skies at the top of the yellow stairs. It's going to be a 2-on-4 here. 30 seconds to go. Laxing Skies trying to go for the shots there onto Fabian. Looks like he tagged him in the butt, but that's going to move him back to Piano. 20 seconds to go inside a connector. Looks like we might have another Deagle kill. No, Fabian and Eunice both coming in strong. It's going to be Penta now up 4-2.
Match point and series point. Penta looking to be your Year 2 Season 2 champions, and that would put them at 2 in a row.
Definitely. 2 in a row. We've never had, at least on PC, we've never had consecutive teams win.
I mean, we had continue win Season 3 and then the Invitational.
For the, I'm thinking
for the Pro League, yeah. But no, it would be absolutely, it would be pretty cool to see Penta get 2 in a row. But Elevate still has it in them. They still have the ability to come back from this. They only need 2 rounds to get that overtime, and from there, it's really an easy breeze to get 2 rounds in a row in overtime and push it onto that third map, and they are more than capable. They just need to start playing their own game and stop focusing on this kind of stalled out slow push.
Yeah, and I know that Penta Sports has got to be feeling some momentum here. They're on the home turf. I know the crowd's going to be on the tips of their seats or the tops of their toes by the end of the round here, but this is what Penta's been waiting for. They've been waiting for their chance to shine. This is their map. We've talked about it numerous times.
Oh yeah, no, the thing is that Penta is backing Elevate up against the wall a little bit here. They practice so hard, you could tell on Clubhouse, and it was Clubhouse was 100% Penta's map. Now we're on Consulate. It's also Penta's map. Yeah. This has been their map for the entire
They won the ban phase. They won the map ban phase.
But way past won the map ban phase. This is everything they could have wanted and more. Penta, Elevate's going to have to fight tooth and nail to get outside of losing that map ban phase and get themselves onto the third map.
It's going to take everything they got, and they have to give it all because they cannot leave anything on the court or on the field here. We are going to have 2.5 minutes still to go. The action phase has just begun. Missed flashbang by Eunice, and unfortunately, that's going to be just a little bit too much utility wasted. Fabian, however, is going to try to get England. Blows him on up. A wonderful start here for Penta Sports. Trying to close it on out. Wonderful job.
Oh, what a nade there by Fabian. He's had a really good set of nades throughout this entire finals. And there's just another one. Elevate is playing very aggressive. Well, I say they're playing very much downstairs. They have 3 roamers on the middle floor right now, which means Penta, if they see this opportunity, they will be able to push into B with almost no contest. There is the Skies with the C4 and heartbeat detector downstairs who can deny the plant, but still, the control is being forfeited to Penta.
And it looks as though they did try to rotate most back up except for Skies, which I agree. Skies should be on the first floor. He's got the heartbeat sensor, he's got the C4, he's able to help stop that denial of the diffuser. So we do see Skies here, circle stairs, main floor. He does see Fabian repelled off the bathroom window. Corner office window is going to be secured here by Pengu. Not his typical spot, but a typical spot for Blackbeard nonetheless. Now Eunice tries to smack a kill there, but Chapstick answers with his own on a Fabian, trying to start this off in favor of Elevate. It's now 4-4. Eunice still inside here. Last time there was a plant attempted to go down, and unfortunately KS was killed off. Shuttle picked up a kill there onto Goga. It looks like Shuttle gets another one here onto Eunice. A 4-on-2 now. Elevate not done just yet. Pengu gonna have to get up off the corner, repel, move on forward. Sky's now trying to go for KS. He smacks down that kill, a 4-on-1 now. There's 50 seconds left. It's all up to Pengu yet again. This time, he has no diffuser, but he is on his home turf. He tries to go for the kill, and Laxing says, no, I hear the repel, forces his drop head.
If Pengu had been able to establish himself on that balcony, he actually could have, in theory, clutched that out. He's really good playing Blackbeard on that balcony. So that is a good play there by Laxing, denying that outright, saying, nope, you cannot establish yourself. You're not allowed to. And we're moving on to the next round. So 4-3, still match point for Penta. So one more round for Penta, and it will be over. But Elevate certainly showing up on that last defense. Now Garage going to be Penta's choice here, and Elevate need to make something. Okay, so what happened last time Elevate attacked onto Garage? They wasted way too much time clearing the top 2 floors, and then when it came to the actual push, while they still had the man advantage, they had the control advantage, there were only 20 seconds. So they need to be a little bit more efficient with their droning or their clearing or what have you to establish the control that is necessary to win this round. And then if they do, we get that sweet, sweet overtime, the possibility of a third map.
Now this prep phase, I'm actually surprised to see Penta not going on that first floor. That's always seemed to be their go-to spot. They'll typically rotate top and bottom for the majority.
I mean, I talked about it earlier where I was saying, like, Penta, they love Consulate, right? They have played Consulate a lot, and there's plenty of VODs and information you can gather about Penta's Consulate. So be less predictable. Do other things. Try to mix it up. And I think that's exactly what Penta's doing to a degree. And I think it's tripping up Elevate just a little bit because it's not what they were expecting. So not going to that first floor is just another symptom of like, okay, well, yeah, we'll do it differently. Because they know that Elevate is good if Elevate can understand the strategy.
So now as we get underway with what could potentially be the final attack round, we are going to have Elevate moving in from, it looks as though the south lobby, that main entrance into the Consulate. Diffuser is in the hand of England, and we're going to see Skies on the connector window, trying to make sure that if there's anyone on the top floor, which is typically where Pengu sits, he'll have to have a couple different avenues to watch. Looks like it might actually be Fabian all the way in the top, though, as Mute.
Elevate, again, spending a lot of time dancing with these roamers. They haven't gotten into the main lobby yet, and already a minute taken off the board. Pengu's playing above the main lobby, and Junis is playing inside of Visa. Fabian also upstairs, and as the attackers push in here, they have to worry about that vertical presence from above. This is going to just add so many more thought processes to the Elevate attack that are seemingly unnecessary. If they can just deal with the defenders upstairs and push them down, then it, well, kind of solves your problem.
So I think Elevate's trying to one-up Penta here by opening up the garage with 2 minutes to go. We see it all opened up now. Eunice, though, coming in from Visa. He could get a kill on a flank if they're not paying attention. Sky's going to give her some of the barbed wire here on yellow stairs. Pre-fires the top. No one's there, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be one eventually. He's now got to turn around because there is Eunice coming from behind inside of the Visa hallway. Sky's getting rid of all that barbed wire, will allow for an easy push down or a quick push down the yellow stairs towards the pipes. But we do have a Mira inside that's going to be KS inside of that middle office, as well as Goga. There's been no pressure from Circle Stairs yet, so they don't need to turn around and watch. Looks as though Pengu getting that kill into Skies. Wonderful way to begin this. The diffuser, however, is going down by Chapstick. Wonderful job here by Elevate, slinking on in there. Looks as though Eunice, though, gets that kill to Shuttle, turns on over, moving towards yellow stairs, where we all see Fabian. C4 kill by Fabian, though, will take out England. We're going to Chapstick grab one. Can he grab another? Can he grab a third? No, he grabs two. KS gets it. And it looks like Penta Sports is going to be the champions here. They're going to be the Season 2 champions for the Pro League of Rainbow Six Siege.
What a wonderful round there from Penta. Not enough control on those top floors from Elevate. And as a result, the collapse will come with such a man advantage after the diffuser's been planted that it doesn't matter that the diffuser's been planted. And so it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, there was that much time after getting everyone done that it didn't come down to the wire, but it was still a very, very epic ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Elevate certainly put up a fight, but our champions, Penta, definitely deserved it. The amount of practice they put in on Clubhouse is insane. And yeah, they definitely deserve it.
So that is our Season 2 champions here for Year 2, Penta Sports. Now, I was talking with Penta a little bit earlier today. They had said that they expected and anticipated to play Elevate. Looking at the brackets, they knew that Elevate was going to be one of the top contenders out of the top portion of the brackets for today and for this event. And they got their fight. And this, as we said, was a rematch. It unfortunately still went in favor here of Penta. Or fortunately for Penta,
well, fortunately for Penta.
For Elevate.
Yeah, 2 seasons in a row from Penta. That's quite a statement.
Now, we are going to head down here in a little bit to the main stage with Matt. But before we do, as we actually see here, it is actually one of the things I want to talk about here right before we get underway. We've got a birthday in the house. And that birthday is for the face of Rainbow Six Siege. His name is Matt Andrews. He's the guy that's been hosting this event the entire time. So guys on the floor, guys on the stage, guys in the back of the audience, and even those watching from home, let's welcome Matt and wish him a happy birthday as he congratulates our winners of Penta Sports down on the main stage. Matt, take it away.
Listen to that. Gamescom gets loud, right? Thank you, Bloodbath. That's very kind of you. Cheers, Kicks. And to everybody who has sent me birthday messages today, thank you very much. I've had loads of them sent to me today, and I really, really appreciate that. That's very kind. But more important things ahead of us now. Ladies and gentlemen of Gamescom, Penta Sports. Fabian, you guys not only broke this curse of not being able to make it to a Pro League finals twice in succession, you came back here and you did much what you did last season. Those finals, comparatively one-sided for you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I don't agree with it being one-sided. I think they're a great team. We're really good friends with the guys in Elevate. We actually said before the season even started, we're going to face each other in the final.
Before this even started?
Before it even started.
I think we do need to show our respects to Elevate. Not only great finalists here, but they were the ones who were up straight to their opponents and shaking their hands. Typically in esports, typically in Rainbow Six, the winners always go over to the other side and go, good game. Elevate was straight over to you guys saying, guys, yeah, you've beat us again, but that's an incredible match. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, Elevate, everybody. So reigning champions retaining our trophy. We've never had this in Rainbow Six at a Pro League Finals. At the Six Invitational Continuum did come back from there, holding the title and being the world champions there. You guys now have the Pro League title twice in a row. And looking at you all, it means something to you. And it would mean something to you anywhere. What does it mean to you here in Cologne?
Well, we have the home crowd. That means everything.
Anything you want to say to all the support you've had?
Excuse me? Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for the support. We've felt amazing pressure when you cheer when we win the rounds. It's just insane.
Pengo, I've talked to you in previous seasons. I remember you all the way back at the very beginning, the very first Pro League season, year one, season one. You were on the analyst desk with me for a little bit. We were chatting about your games. Seems a very long time ago now. I remember this meant something to you last season because it felt a long time ago then. Here we are again. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Thank you very much. I mean, this time it's a little bit sooner. This time it didn't take a year. I was at a stepping stone in my career 2 seasons ago before I joined this current lineup, where I had to decide between joining Six Quarters French team or making this Outcast EU, all across the world team. And I think it's safe to say that I made the right decision after all, trusting in Fabian.
Being an outcast isn't so bad, huh?
No, not so bad after all.
Ladies and gentlemen of Gamescom, you've been absolutely fantastic with us for 2 days here. It's been a total pleasure bringing you games of this quality at the world's best gaming convention. Your Pro League champions for Year 2, Season 2 of the Rainbow Six Pro League. Give it up for Penta Sports! Fabian, Pengu, KS, Goga, and Eunice, the champions of Rainbow Six Pro League! Congratulations, Penta Sports! Let's take a look at how they became the Pro League champions again.
winners. And in this round, Shuttle tried his best to keep Elevate alive, the dream alive, but it did not work here. This was really the first round that Elevate needed to get to gain the momentum.
Yeah, and surprising that they came back on the map that we least expected them to, but Shuttle definitely showed up, but so did the rest of Penta. As you see there, some desperate rounds there. Fabian, though, definitely coming alive, showing that this is their map, absolutely.
Yeah, even here, Pengu trying to clutch this round. He's done it before in the Pro League circuit, but has not been able to finish it here on LAN. Fabian, though, with his plays, was pretty darn good in rotating around the map and giving his teammates a lot of info here. KS staying alive, throwing the C4 at the end to clean it up, and UNS delaying Elevate so much in Adam.
He continued to show up. But
the
Goga,
Deegs! Oh, yes,
what
the
a great
Deeg
round
from
for
Goga.
Some great grenade play as well. Catching him out there, that was the beautiful timing.
Pengu here trying, he was all on his own, but he's going to just ragdoll down on the Blackbeard.
Great way to end
and
it.
Everybody from Penta Conga lines up. And they're all ready. Chap just takes him out, but KS runs out, gets it. Pengu takes the diffuser
Just
out of
watch
commission.
him. Go ahead and hit that thing, because we got this.
Yes, insane.
Absolutely amazing finals. Congratulations again to Penta Sports, now our Pro League champions for Year 2, Season 2. Season 3 coming on the 18th and 19th of November, but we're not there quite yet. That season kicks off, remember, on the 18th of September, so make sure you're watching to see what Penta and all of our other regions, including APAC, can do then. Final thoughts on 2 amazing days of action here at Gamescom Canadian.
Penta's the best team in the world. There's no argument. Everything they do, it's just so clean, so coordinated, so well thought out. There's really nothing else to say. It doesn't matter about the skill of their opponents. At the end of the day, they're so well prepared and so organized that they can overcome anything.
We've got this amazing audience here with us in Gamescom. Don't worry, we have not forgotten Operation Blood Orchid. That's still to come live on stage here at Gamescom. We'll be bringing you that very soon, the world's first live play of the new map Theme Park with the new operators. Our show match on that will be coming up. Before it, we'll have a dev panel to explain everything about the new operation, which will be with you very soon. Of course, in the hands of Season Pass operators first with them, then everybody can buy them with Renown a week later. And the new map Theme Park available to all very, very soon on the 5th of September, I think it is. Got my head full of numbers from this, if I'm totally honest with you. Emzo, any last thoughts on yet another amazing finals?
If this was Shuttle's first LAN, I'm very excited to see a second.
Yeah, well said. And Milos?
Vamos Penta, number 1. Number 2, for me to be here and actually cast this, I have to thank, really, I wish I could, but the 20+ million people that play Rainbow Six Siege and everybody that is here, I can't tell you the dream of the small town Middle Eastern boy making it here and casting in front of such amazing people and working with these guys is absolutely insane.
That's very kind. It's a real pleasure bringing you to Rainbow Six Pro League.
Happy
it's such
birthday.
Oh, go on.
Happy birthday to you. We'll sing that at the party
Keep going,
later.
Milos. Keep going, Milos. I'm going to make you sing it all now. Thanks again for all the messages. You've been extremely kind. Happy birthday, Krella, as well. It has been an amazing 2 days. If I get to work an event on my birthday, and working on your birthday, that can suck, right? I've got to say, if I've got to host anything on my birthday, it's a pleasure to be here at the best gaming convention in the world, hosting this game for you with these fine guys. And this amazing audience we've had here at Gamescom as well. Yes, Gamescom, thanks to you for joining us. It has been an amazing season again. The new one starts on the 18th of September. Welcome, APAC. We are looking forward to seeing what the 4 regions down in APAC are going to bring us ahead of their APAC finals, ahead of Pro League finals, which are on the 18th and 19th of November. And remember, tickets for the World Championship for the 6th Invitational 2018, which is in the 16th to the 18th of February in Montreal next year. Tickets are on sale now. Rainbow6.com/6invitational. The VIP 3-day passes pretty much sold out within seconds of us announcing it about an hour and a bit ago. There are tickets available as they go in and out of people's carts, so keep trying. Tickets are definitely still available. VIP passes gone, if not gone, almost gone. Get in there, rainbow6.com/6invitational. Absolutely amazing season. Thank you to all the teams across Europe, North America and Latin America who've joined us Thanks everybody from Ubisoft, everybody at ESL Production for giving us this incredible production to work on. It's been so much fun. Again, thanks for all the birthday messages. They really do mean a lot. Gamescom, you've been absolutely magnificent. We have more for you with Operation Blood Orchid. Don't go anywhere. That's in your hands soon. That's live on this stage right up next. But guys, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations, your reigning champions here in Cologne, Penta Sports.
Coming for you, especially we have 3 ops and a brand new map, Theme Park. I'd like to introduce my awesome panel. Please give a round of applause for Amelia, game designer, Naj, level designer, and of course Canadian is joining us back here to talk about a little bit of the competitive aspect of Siege and the new operators and the new map. So give a round of applause. Yep. And hello everyone out there on the internet, on whether you're watching this on Twitch, YouTube, wherever you're watching this, really welcome you. And it is really exciting for us to get into Blood Orchid and really go into the details of everything that we're launching in Season 3. So without further ado, let's take a look at the new map, Theme Park. So Theme Park is our new map based on the shores of Hong Kong. As you can see, it is an abandoned theme park with a lot of overgrowth and this really central corridor. It has beautiful vistas overlooking Hong Kong and remnants of the once beautiful theme park. It has been taken over by these squatters, these drug lords, creating meth in the lobby, but there are also these remaining features like the haunted house, which is so beautiful and a little bit spooky. It is one of our most amazingly designed maps in terms of art style, and it is really cool. So Naj, as a level designer, let's go into sort of the tactical side of it, the strategy of this map. It's really beautiful, as we can see, but how does it play? Tell us a little bit about the basics of it.
All right, so this is one of our 3 spawn point maps. It's a 2-story high building. One main thing about it is that there's an ancient monorail section that splits the map in 2 on the 2nd floor. What it gives, with 2 ramps on each side of the building, a really fast way for attackers to get into the heart of the building. As you can see, and for defenders, it's a really nice spot to cut off any rotations and to have good hiding spots and block off any rotations between the 2 stairs.
Yeah, or potentially between the 2 buildings as well. Yeah. As we'll see, this map is really broken down into 2 separate buildings, the east and west building, and then this corridor in the center, which is monorail, really creates that interesting transitions for attackers and defenders too. Yeah. Really interesting, really cool, and a beautiful design too. I think it is. One of the most interesting things about this map is you'll notice all throughout it are these mixed signals of what it once was, this beautiful, happy Funland place, and this kind of destroyed and overgrown, abandoned area.
Yeah, the contrast is really interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So let's take a look at the tactical map and go into a bit of the strategy on this map.
As you can see on the 2nd floor, the bit section that I talked about that's separated, all you see in red is line of sight floors. There's also 2 hatches on the roof, and all the hatches you see on the yellow are on the 2nd floor as well.
So you have 4 hatches. 4 hatches on the 2nd floor, 2 hatches on the roof, and a lot of line of sight angles. Yeah. Some of those line of sight floors came into play during the Pro League, as we just saw.
It's a really
I mean, it was
important
amazing.
aspect.
Yeah, so it's a really important aspect. A lot of verticality in this map.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the first floor too.
First floor is more room by rooms. There's still a main corridor. There's still connection between the stairs, but it's going to be more room-oriented first floor. The map itself is divided in 4 distinct sections. If we have a look at...
let's take a look at those 4 distinct sections. Obviously, it's the 2 buildings and the 2 floors, so let's take a look at the west building and the first floors, the arcades.
The arcades, first floor. One particular aspect about this objective is that it is surrounded by 2 sets of stairs. What we'd like to create with that is that we want to have fast rotations and fast repositioning while you want to attack or defend the objective. There's not much access from the outside, so you're going to be able to use that corridor and the rooms on the other side to get into that objective.
So a lot of potential for attackers to use those different rooms to bust into the bomb room here, which we're seeing. And obviously a really cool design too with the arcade machines and the meth lab there too. One of those kind of mixed signal things that I was talking about earlier.
That's a good example of it, yeah.
Yeah, and a couple little Easter eggs in there as well.
Of course. Arcade section, I won't spoil it. I let the player discover them, but yeah, there's a couple of Easter eggs on there.
That's really cool. What a fun looking area, but also like kind of spooky too scary with the meth lab there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So let's take a look at the west building on the second floor now.
On the second floor, on top of that, you have the daycare section that is been used by squatters for the thematic. One aspect of this objective is that it is surrounded by the whole corridor. It's kind of isolated. What it makes in terms of gameplay is that for attackers to get into the objectives and plant, you're going to have to commit to that open area where defenders are going to be able to predict where you're coming from really more easily and in a more open space.
So a lot of long line of sight angles, a lot of places where you might have to hold that angle as a defender and block off a couple different corridor aggressive approaches. Something that we'll also take a look at when we reveal the new operators as well with Amelia. I mean, those defender operators may come into play in these long angles.
Oh yeah,
hallways.
Definitely.
Yeah, very interesting. Cool. So last but not least, I believe we're looking at the east building on the first floor. One of my favorite sections of the map. Sorry. Let's go to the east building, second floor.
East building, second floor.
Yeah.
This objective is the one that has the most entry points and is going to use the most the midsection. Also, you have that corridor that splits between the 2 bomb sites. It's going to be a lockdown place for defenders to use. Also, the attackers have a lot of like small pocket rooms to get inside this objective. So I believe defender was going to spread out and they need to control all the surroundings of the objective more than the objective itself.
So a lot of spread out defenses that we might see here on defense. But obviously, once again, it's really kind of a cool looking map. You saw the cult things there too. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's an ancient like manager section that has been turned into like a cultist, like some kind of rituals that I don't know who they want to sacrifice, but it's been there.
So not only are you dealing with meth head drug dealers, but you're also dealing with cultists.
Exactly.
Oh, really interesting. So, or drug dealer cultists.
Yeah.
Maybe that. So Team Rainbow obviously has a job here to do in this map, in this theme park. All right, let's go on to what I was saying earlier. The East Building's first floor, which is one of my favorite parts, the haunted house.
It is. It's like the most iconic. It's the haunted house. Haunted house where we brought all the spookiness of Rainbow in there. As you can see, a lot of small rooms, but this is a moment where the art and the level design comes into play together. You can see we kept the rail track for the cart that used to follow the whole haunted house.
It's so spooky, Naj.
It's spooky.
It's so spooky.
And you can see
Zanzibar has a personal message for you.
we still kept like some really cool moments like that. What it brings to us as well is that it's a way for players to orientate themselves by following the tracks, and it leads to the objective.
Right.
For the objective itself, a lot of small rooms, as you can see with the luminosity, the lighting, and the small covers, we try to encourage some kind of like hide and seek moments in there. And Haunted House is the perfect place for that.
Yeah, Haunted House is the perfect place, and that rail really gives you a lot of visual intelligence of how to navigate that bomb site. So if you're dodging spooky Caveira pop-ups, jump scare moments. You might be able to reorient yourself with that central corridor. Really interesting. Cool. So that is a look at our new free map coming to Operation Blood Orchid on September 5th and the technical test server on August 29th. Canadian, why don't you, I'm going to turn to you for a second about this map. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts about the competitive aspect of this map. Do you think it's a competitive map?
I do. I think it has a solid viability competitive. Obviously, we need more testing and time, but I think a really good part of it is that you're kind of forced inside, and there's not as many deep line of sights into the map from the outside, as opposed to some other maps where you can kind of just take bomb sites from without even stepping into the building. So it forces the attackers to take the fight inside, which is really interesting, a lot more fun to play in my opinion. Also, the verticality is really nice. Verticality is always good. Adds a lot of variation in terms of defense and attack. And then lastly, I'd say the close quarters combat is always a lot of fun.
Now, you've had a lot of time on this map in pro player test sessions, and also a ton of the players here at Gamescom themselves have had hands-on time with this new map at the booth, playing it all week long. What map would you say it's sort of similar to?
I don't think there's any specific map, I'd say. If I had to pick anything, it would be kind of the dining kitchen, and as well as the kids' bedroom side of Oregon, just in terms of the proximity of it all. But there's not really a map that's too similar to it in terms of layout.
All right, great. Thank you so much for your feedback, and Naj, thank you so much for running us through the new map that is coming. Theme Park, coming in Operation Blood Orchid on September 5th. Now, without further ado, let's get into the operators. We have 3 operators coming this season. Obviously, the 2 that are coming with the Hong Kong operation, Ying and Lesion, your attacker and defender, but we also have Ella. Ella is our Polish operator from the Polish season that was moved to the Hong Kong season due to the changes coming in Operation Health. And obviously, Ella is coming with Hong Kong, and our future Polish operator will be coming in South Korea. Now, Emilian, let's get into this. Let's start off with Lesion. Let's take a closer look at him. Lesion comes from Junk Bay, Hong Kong, and grew up in these poor conditions. He didn't have a really wonderful life growing up. He was rummaging around dumpsters, and eventually got into hazardous waste disposal, where he became an expert in this hazardous waste material, and he eventually worked his way up through the Hong Kong operations units into the SDU, where he became one of the most talented operators with hazardous waste, and he's equipped with this goo mine that is really interesting. One of these trap mines. Emilian, tell us more about this gadget and your design intentions behind it.
Well, in terms of design intention for those goo mine, we aim to give back the control of the bomb site to the defending team, and we also want to have a very dynamic operators as a trapper that can dispose his trap during the entire round.
So how does this gadget actually work? How does he deploy it?
Well, first you start the round with one of those things. You can toss it around, and you will acquire a new one every 35 seconds.
5 seconds.
Those traps are cloaked, as you can see. As soon as they deploy, they become cloaked, and you can barely see them, and they close to detect.
So I just want to be clear here, these are regenerating over time throughout the entirety of the round, right?
Exactly.
Up to about 7?
Yes.
So at the end of the round, at the very end of the round, you would have 7 goo mines.
Yes, if you survive that long.
If you survive that long, or if you're just not using them. So really interesting mechanic. Now, what happens when someone steps on one of these goo mines?
Well, when you step on the mine, you will have this feedback visually that will tell you that you've been poisoned. It means that you can't run anymore, that you will take some damage right away, and then you will take some damage through time. You can get rid of this trap by interacting with it and pressing your action button. You will remove it, but it's required to take the time to do that, so you need to find cover. You can do this during the action.
So there we see an operator stepping on one of these goo mines, taking an initial hit of damage, and then additional damage over time, until she actually has to go down, bend down, and pull out the goo mine dart from her leg.
And during that entire time, you cannot sprint.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So not only are you taking this damage over time, but you can't sprint. You can only walk around. So really inhibiting movement speed, and while also adding damage onto that as well. So what happens from Lesion's perspective when one of these mines trip?
Well, the thing is, you can see in your UI this white symbol that shows where your mine are deployed. And when the symbol disappears, it means that either an attacker stepped on one or destroyed it. So it gives you also a bit of information, and you can act on it, get a kill, or communicate to your teammates.
So that's really interesting. So not only is it this really powerful trap mine that's cloaked, does damage over time, does the initial damage, and slows your opponent, but it also provides intel to Lesion himself, and only himself, right? He can only has all of his mines that he's deployed out. So he's really a powerful counter rush operator, is that right?
Definitely. He's great against 5-speed Ash, and he will prevent those rusher in the bomb site from being free to kill everyone.
Yeah, and obviously really good against the initial rush. If the attacking team is rushing to the point really quickly, he's really strong against that. And then with those regenerating gadgets where he can get up to 7 throughout the entire match, he can actually have some survivability towards the end of the match.
Yes, definitely. That's what I mean by a dynamic operator. You cannot place all your trap at the beginning of the round. You have to survive the round, move around the bomb site, place your traps according to the strategy of the enemy team, and you have to remain in movement all the time.
So what a really cool operator that you guys are introducing with Lesion. Let's take a look at his loadout, the basics.
Definitely. He's a 2-speed, 2-armor operator who has access to a shotgun with by default a silencer. And also a very cool SMG.
So a silenced shotgun is one of his primary weapons.
Exactly.
And a really cool SMG. It looks really cool in that outline.
It is.
What about his secondary gadget?
As for secondary gadgets, he has access to the impact grenade, so very useful when you're on the site to create rotationals and reshape the entire site. And also a shield that can deploy probably in a doorway, place a trap behind it, and create some cool combination like that.
So in a similar way that Frost kind of changed that meta where you have to actually look down as you're vaulting over those shields.
Yes.
You're going to have to also keep an eye out for cloaked goo mines as well.
Exactly.
That's going to be pretty crazy. It's cool. So we've been talking a lot about how this operator interacts with other operators. Tell us a little bit more about how he can be countered.
As for counters, we will find some very classic interaction. You can destroy the goo mine using bullets or explosion. IQ will spot them. Thatcher will destroy them. Twitch can destroy them as well. And if you make the mistake of tossing one of those in an electrified barbed wire, well, you will lose your goo mine.
Oh, man. So, because Bandit's battery just destroys everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's also a few counters to other attacker operators that he has, right?
Yes.
That he is strong against. Yeah.
We talked earlier about countering 5-speed, well, extremely fast operators like Ash mostly, but other 3-speed operators and rushers. But he's also very strong against others, like Montaigne, for example. If Montaigne step on one of those mines, he will have to unextend his shield to remove the mine, while leaving him even more exposed. Similarly, Glaz, when entering the bomb site through smoke with his thermoscope, if he steps on one of those things, well, since he's aiming down sight, he won't find them, and he will be affected by the mine. He won't be able to have this push the way he wanted to.
So that's a really, really powerful counter to that rush push that we were talking about.
Any kind of push.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of push, but especially that Montaigne, that's a really strong counter, especially if he's trying to do like a late game push, and or maybe he's just blocking off a doorway, and you just want to like throw a couple mines around him. Just be like, hey man, you're not getting in this doorway.
Exactly.
So if you main one of those rush operators, in order to avoid getting gooed, you might need to get gooed. You're welcome. All right, with that said, that is Lesion. Now let's take a look at the attacking operator, Ying. Ying's storyline has a little bit of a different spin to it than Lesion. She comes from a more aristocratic setting in Hong Kong. And she also, how she got involved in Rainbow is she got in a car accident and got into martial arts for rehabilitation. And through her training, she trained in an all-female unit in Tel Aviv, Israel, where she met, of course, Ash. and she went on a few missions with Ash and Fuse. And one funny thing that the creative team has written into her backstory is that she just really hates Fuse. And that is kind of a direct counter to her non-lethal gadget. It's sort of like a non-lethal Fuse gadget. Is that right?
In a way, yeah, but it's a little bit more complex than that. But the idea behind it is close to that. She does have this weird relationship with our beloved Fuse. She considers him a questionable asset for his disregard of civilian life. And her gadget, the Candela, the idea with that is to have like a strong pusher, but also want to have lots of creativity to the player in the way you use this. And synchronized assault is really the name of the game here.
So how does she deploy these Candelas? How is it different from Fuse?
The first way to deploy those things is you can toss them into a room and it will release a lot of flashbangs, flashing the entire room. The area is really, really big. On top of that, she's immune to her own flashes, so she can push right behind the flash.
So right there in the video asset that you're seeing right there that you just saw, she threw the Candela into the room, flashed all the enemies, and she was able to stay ADSing without getting blinded.
She's not affected.
Yeah, is she affected by other flashbangs?
Yes, she is affected by the regular flashbang, but her own device won't affect her.
That's really, really cool. So what are other ways that she can deploy this?
Well, you have other ways you can deploy this the way you would do with Fuse Cluster Charge on a wall. You can add a timer to that thing to add a certain delay between the plant of the device and the way it releases flashbangs. And then you can push from another way, or have your teammate push from somewhere. You can plant this on floors as well to do the same thing. It's really interesting.
That's really interesting. So not only is there different ways of deploying it, but there's also a timing mechanism to it that allows the player playing as Ying to really have a little bit of a granularity with her gadget, and that comes into play with the other way that she can deploy this gadget. Is that right?
Yes, there's the third way. If you use this timer and toss it on the ground, this device will roll off the floor, follow walls, get underneath barricades or drone holes, and flash the entire room on the other side. And this is where the team coordination comes into play. You have to time your timer, coordinate with your teammate to make sure that they can enter the room as soon as everyone is flashed and clear the room.
That's really cool. As you can see in that video, there was she cranked up her gadget, rolled it on the ground, and it hit the wall, followed the wall, and it went into the drone hole. So it will follow pretty much any wall surface that you actually deploy it on, really. And it can obviously then roll under barricaded doors, castle doors, etc. So really cool gadget. Now let's take a look at her loadout as well. Why don't you run us through it?
Well, she's also 2-speed, 2 armor. And in terms of primary weapons, she has access to the same shotgun, but without the silencer. And she also has access to a big LMG with like 80 bullets. So you can flash the room, and you have more than enough bullets in one mag to kill a 5-man team.
So just flash the whole room and spray and pray, but you don't really have to pray.
You don't really have to pray when it's flashed.
That's really cool. So what about her secondary gadgets?
As for secondary gadgets, she has access to Claymore, which is very classic in terms of how you can strategize to cover your flanks, but also to a smoke grenade. The new smoke grenade that you guys mentioned earlier in the elf panel are really awesome. You can toss this thing and roll your Candela underneath this. That way the defending team can't expect this and get flashed entirely.
So if you missed it earlier, the new smokes are a really cool thing that we're adding into Season 3 Operation Blood Orchid, where it's a more reliable, more consistent, more dense smoke than players are going to be used to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Really interesting. So how does she interact with other operators?
Well, interaction are very classic. You have, first you can, well, interestingly, you can shoot those things. If you roll them on the floor and you see it entering the room, try to shoot it. That way we'll get rid of the entire Candela right away. You can also use Jaeger ADS, which will interact with this. If it spots the Candela itself, it will destroy it. If on the other end you deploy it on the wall and it releases flashbang, it will try to destroy every single flashbang and you will wipe away all ADSs.
So you can pretty much clear a whole room with, with one of her Candelas into a room.
Definitely.
And just flash the whole room, and the ADSs will get destroyed.
But last but not least, you can also deploy barbed wire, and if this device rolls through a barbed wire, it will be slowed down, and you can shoot it more easily. And if on top of that you electrify the barbed wire, it will destroy the Candela.
Yeah, so if you see a Candela rolling under a doorway, just kill it.
Yes, destroy
it. Destroy it as soon as you can.
It's a death threat.
Really cool. So that is a look at our attacking operator for Hong Kong, Ying. Let's move on to one of my favorite operators, Ela. Ella is obviously our Polish operator from the Grom season, and her backstory is really interesting. One of her driving motivations for being in Team Rainbow is the death of her father. And that is one of the things that really drives her backstory, drives her emotions, and yet she is also a kind of a chaotic character with a lot of attitude and a lot of fierceness. And she really thrives to live on dangerous and chaotic missions, and that is reflected in her gadget, which is a concussion mine, a proximity concussion mine. So what were your design intentions behind her?
Well, in terms of design intention, we want to have a new concept here, as it is a 3-speed operator, so it is a very good roamer. But on top of that, she has these traps, so it's a mix of a trapper and a roamer. It's non-lethal traps, but it's still this new function as I'm moving around and placing traps, grabbing them back and placing them again somewhere else. And this is very dynamic as well. You need to move around the map to make sure that Ella is as efficient as possible.
So let's break down her gadget in a granular level. So how does she deploy it, first off?
Well, easily you can just toss it on walls, ceiling, floors, and it will stick there. Like it's similarly in what you see in the video, you can toss it and sticks. And if someone, an attacker, gets in range of that thing, it will detonate and affect them with a dizziness effect.
So what does that effect kind of look like? Is it similar to Echoes? Let's take a look at it now.
It has differences with Echoes. You will be affected by this visual effect, but on top of that, your rotational speed will be lower, and the effect wears off with time. You don't have to stand still. You can move and get back to cover. It's really just more of a warning for Ella and a way for her to use this gadget to prevent the attacker from pushing her.
So it provides a little bit of intel, so if you hear it go off, you can easily rotate. And making her 3-speed is really important to her being that roamer trapper character, right?
If the mine detonates, you can immediately react, get the kill on your opponent, or run away and try to find another angle.
So yeah, so as you can see here, the operator gets dizzied, gets drunk, and she can easily rotate around. So really interesting operator. Now, there's one other surprise with her,
yes.
right?
One last thing, when she's in DBNO, she can actually use a concussion mine on herself. That way you might give instant karma to a filthy sledge trying to finish you.
Sledgehammers beware. So that's really one of the coolest aspects of Ella, and it's one of the first times that we're introducing a mechanic to the DBNO downstate, right?
Yes, definitely. It's one of the new ideas we want to explore.
That's really cool. So that is a look at Ella's gadget. Let's take a look at her loadout now.
Well, for loadout, like we mentioned, she's a 3-speed, so for us, a roamer, definitely very fast operator. She has, as for primary weapon, she has access to also a shotgun, no silencer. She has access to a great SMG, and we have one more surprise. Her handgun is equipped with a red dot.
What?
Yes.
That's really cool. So now this is exclusive to Ella.
Exclusive to Ella.
And it's the first handgun that will have an actual sight on it.
Exactly.
Aside from iron sights, obviously, yeah. So that's really awesome. So what about her secondary gadgets?
Well, for secondary gadgets, she has an impact grenade, very useful as a roamer to break down hatches and come back to site or create rotations very easily. And she also has the barbed wire that is one of the most efficient gadgets in defense currently, and very, very useful one that she can use either deploy at the beginning of the round and forget about it, or use it around the bomb site for the combination with a mine.
So an operator that has a lot of utility, a lot of ability to roam around the map, move around. And how do other operators interact with her?
Well, we will find very classic interaction as well. You can shoot the mine down. You can find them with the Spectre. You can use Thatcher to destroy those things. You can use Twitch drone also. And again, if you make the mistake of tossing one in an electrified barbed wire, it will get destroyed.
Spanish battery just destroys everything. Exactly. Cool. So that's sort of a look at Ella at a larger scale. Now let's break it down into the meta. We've obviously talked a lot about the meta. How does she fit into this new meta with these 2 new additional defenders?
Well, as a symbol of our own ambition for this operator, we have on one side our classic roamers operators, on the other side our classic trappers plus Legion that just joined the club. And in the middle of those things, we find Ella and Forrest. She's really both at the same time. And, well, this is our own ambition. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe you guys will find a different way to use it, but this is what we intend to do with this operator.
Yeah, I don't think we ever want to tell the players how to play an operator or dictate to them in any way, because a lot of what they create is often really smart and really intelligent and really cool to see when the operators actually get out into the wild.
I agree. We create a toolbox and players create the game.
Yeah, that's great. Speaking about players, Canadian, we have you on hand to talk about the competitive aspect of these players. What are your thoughts on some of them?
So starting off with Lesion, I really like him as a defender. I think he can kind of come in as a secondary, really strong anchor along with Smoke. His gadget doesn't work exactly the same, but kind of has its similarities with Smoke, how it's dynamic. I like how it has multiple options for how it can be used, whether it's to stop a rush or to just throw it for information so you can see whether it gets destroyed or triggered. And then also there's another use that it can be used for that wasn't mentioned is when you are injected with the goo mine, in order to remove it, you have to hold your interact button, which is the same button as planting the bomb. So you won't be able to plant the bomb as long as you're effective.
Obviously, you guys are really good at counter strategy. Do you see Lesion becoming one of those situational picks where you could deploy him into your lineup and kind of shake things up in your game a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be picked in competitive. Obviously, I'm not too sure on what sites and whatnot yet because I haven't developed any strategies with it, but I definitely see him getting used.
Yeah, I'm sure you and your team are really excited to dive into Lesion and really go find out where he works, where his strengths are, where his weaknesses are. Now, who else comes to mind?
So for Ying, I really like the coordination and kind of creativity she brings to the table. There's so many different ways to deploy her Candela. You can use it for timings with your teammates, or you can flash another teammate in, or perhaps throw your smokes out and then throw your flash or throw the Candela into the smokes and have Glaz cover you planning in the smoke.
Yeah, that would be a really deadly combo with the smoke out, Candela flashes through him, and Glaz back there for support.
Yeah, so there's a lot of combinations and kind of ideas that you could run with, as well as the timing with rolling it in on a set detonation time and then having your teammates entering somewhere else.
Obviously, we design all of our operators from the casual level to the most expert Pro League level. But obviously, an operator like Ying could shine on a really competitive scene where there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of talking, a lot of really that fine, detailed strategy that comes into play, where she can roll out her gadget, maybe have a timer on it, a specific timer on it, and then have a coordinated push in.
Yeah, I think she'll be used even better in competitive play due to that coordination that pro teams have.
Really interesting. So let's round it all out with Ela. What are your thoughts on Ela and her competitive aspect?
So, of course, she's really fun to play because she's 3-speed and has a really good gun. But her ability is actually really interesting to use, and I think she could even be kind of used as an anchor even to keep the concussion mines in her pocket and then use them late round after equipment has been used and drones have been used, and then when people walk into them, all of a sudden an entry fragger can't flick their mouse to the side and kind of scan the room anymore.
So obviously we design her as a roamer trapper, but players like Continuum are always thinking about the meta and always thinking about how to use these operators in unconventional ways. And one way might be as a site operator.
Yeah, and it could definitely be used as a roamer as well, kind of using it for information and support for yourself.
Yeah.
But there's multiple ideas that you could run with on it.
Now, with these three operators coming into the Pro League scene, what is one of the most significant changes to the meta that you think might develop out of this?
I just think the smokes coming in combination with Ying, I think Ying will really change the attack meta. There will be new approaches to attacks. I think Lesion and Ela will kind of assist the defenders, but I don't think the way the defenders will play as a whole will change all that much. But I think the way attackers will play will change a whole lot. A lot of strats will revolve around Ying.
Right, and just having the attackers be a little bit more aware of their surroundings. Yeah. In a similar way, when we deployed Valkyrie to the scene, you had to spot out one of those black eye cameras that were on like an antler somewhere, and it made attackers a little bit more aware of their surroundings. And now you're going to have a proximity mine that might be above the doorway. You might have a cloaked goo mine right in front of you, or behind a deployable shield, or within some barbed wire, or who knows where.
Yeah, definitely.
But a lot more attention will have to be paid by attackers.
Yeah. Definitely makes the attackers be a lot more thorough, and for example, like Twitch drones will be a lot better going in and destroying all the equipment.
Cool. So with that said, we're about to show off a few more things, but these guys are actually going to be a part of our live demo coming up very shortly. So I'm going to let them go and go take their places and get set up for the live demo. So thank you guys. Give them a round of applause for showcasing the new content. Now, coming in Season 3, Operation Blood Orchid, we also have a couple of new uniforms and monetization items for our new operators that we're deploying. So if you own the Year 2 pass or want to buy the Year 2 pass, you can actually equip these new uniforms right at the launch of Season 3. You'll also have access to the 2 operators from Velvet Shell, and you'll also have access to the 3 operators coming in South Korea. So with that said, also there are a slew of new patches, new fixes coming in this season. A ton of new improvements coming to Operation Blood Orchid that you'll be seeing. And there are also about over 1,300 bugs that we are introducing into.
Gotta make sure we end with Valkyrie so they can see that flex, though.
I guess. Yeah. Right.
But we're talking the whole time.
No, still no.